Assalamu alaikum. Dear student, yesterday we have studied about the tidal volume and capacity of an oxygen, or during respiration the capacity of lungs and their volume inside the lungs during inspiration and expiration. Today we will study about the breathing control mechanism, that how the breathing mechanism is controlled by our respiratory system, or how the breathing control mechanism is controlled by a human body, or which part of the body or which part of the human control the breathing process. So today we will study chapter number 14, which is the first chapter of this course, second year biology. Our topic is 14.4, topic number is 14.4, and topic is control of breathing. As we know that the breathing or respiration, it is involuntary process. Normally it is involuntary process, but in some way there is considered as voluntary process. For example, during singing, talking, during speech, during swimming, so the breath is in our control for how much time we want to control our breath. In that condition, it is considered as in voluntary breathing mechanism or voluntary breathing, while involuntary and daily life or in daily way, when we are respiring or when we are taking air from the environment and exhale out into the environment, that mechanism is considered as involuntary. Respiration is involuntary process, but in some ways or in some time it acts as a voluntary. It is for the short period of time. As I given an example of swimming, speech or singing, during that condition you can control your breath. So that's why it is known as that it is a rare voluntary process, while an actual breathing or respiration is involuntary process. So which part of our body is controlled? Which part of the brain control the breathing mechanism or the respiration mechanism? First of all, it is involuntary. Mechanism. But in rare cases it is voluntary, is controlled by, the breathing is controlled or respiration is controlled by medulla oblongata. The part of a brain, medulla oblongata, is responsible to control the breathing mechanism or to control the respiration. Now, how it controls the breathing mechanism? There is a respiratory center. There is a center which are present, or there is a breathing control center which are located on medulla oblongata. Breathing control center which are located on medulla oblongata, what will be the function of this breathing control center? That it will control the breathing mechanism, the voluntary type of breathing mechanism and involuntary type of breathing mechanism. So there are two portions of medulla oblongata, or there are two portions of breathing center, breathing control center. Breathing control center or breathing center consist of two portions. One is ventral portion and another one is dorsal portion. Now both ventral and dorsal portion have their own function during voluntary type of breathing mechanism and involuntary type of breathing mechanism. The ventral portion of breathing center act as increased rate. It will act during increased rate in taking oxygen or gases from the outer environment. During inspiration, this is known as, or this is called inspiratory center. This is why it is known as inspiratory system. inspiratory center, ventral portion of the breathing center, which are located inside or which are located on the medulla oblongata, which control respiration, which control respiratory system. The function of the ventral portion of the breathing center is that it control the mechanism, or it will control the air rate or the air depth rate which are taken from the environment during inspiration. Means when we inhale oxygen, when we inhale gases from the outer environment, it will depend upon, or the ventral portion of the breathing center will control the rate and depth, that how depthly we inhale air inside in our body. So the control or the function of these ventral portion is that it will control inspiration, entry of gases during inhaling process. It will be the function of ventral portion. What will be the function? We will write there that the ventral portion have a function of inspiration. During inspiration, control rate and depth. So it is a function of ventral portion of the breathing center that during inspiration it will control the rate and depth of inspiratory air which are taken from the environment, while the dorsal and lateral portion inhibit inspiration and stimulate expiration. While the function of dorsal portion is opposite to the ventral portion. One will inhale, one will control inhale or inspiration of the air which are taken from the environment inside in our lung, while the dorsal portion of the breathing center have opposite function of the ventral portion. Their function will be that it will control or it will stop the inspiration process and start expiration. It will stop inspiration process or inspiration center and will start expiration of the gases. As the general phenomena are, we are defining the breathing, that exchange of gases or gaseous exchange, the exchange of gases, incoming of gases from the environment into the body and outgoing of the gases from the body into the environment. Now into the body or the coming of gases from environment into the body, this is controlled by ventral portion of the breathing center which are located on the medulla oblongata, while expiration, when we exhale, now that the dorsal portion, when we inhale gases or oxygen inside in our lungs, the ventral portion, the dorsal portion will stop, that there is enough amount of oxygen or enough amount of gases come in our lungs, so it will give order or it will stimulate the dorsal portion that you stop the entry of gases and expel the extra gases which are stored inside in our lungs. So it stop the inspiration center and will start expiration. So dorsal portion is responsible for expiration process. Breathing center or breathing is controlled by, the breathing mechanism is controlled by the portion which is a part of the forebrain, which is part of the forebrain which is known as medulla oblongata. Now the medulla oblongata, is a part of a hindbrain which is medulla oblongata, which have a portion known as breathing center. Now that portion furtherly consists of two portions. One is ventral portion, another one is dorsal portion. The ventral portion is responsible for the inspiration of gases, for the inspiration process. It will control the rate and depth of the air which is inhaled from the outer environment into the lungs. While the second one is dorsal portion, the dorsal portion is responsible for expiration, for stopping the ventral portion part, to stop them from inhaling the air, and will expel out the carbon dioxide or the extra gases which are stored, which are reserved inside the lungs. So expiration, your dorsal portion have a function of expiration, of expelling out the gases, while the ventral portion have a function of to inhale the gases inside the lungs or inside the human lungs. Now, what will be the concentration of oxygen? What will be the concentration of oxygen in which a human cannot feel any type of hesitation, any type of discomfortness during breathing? That will be a normal condition, just like in room temperature or an open atmosphere. We feel freely, we breathe freely, we respire freely. But what will be the condition as we go on the top and a hilly area? We feel suffocation, we feel doubling in our breathing. Why? Because the increase or the amount of oxygen when decrease to 20%, and the actual level of oxygen which is present in an environment. For example, we need 100% of oxygen for better respiration process. Now, if the oxygen level come to 80%, decrease occur up to 20% in the environmental oxygen, we will feel suffocation, we will feel discomfort, comfortability and taking breathing. So 20% or decrease 20% in oxygen in natural oxygen or in natural environment, it will cause doubling in our breathing. It will cause doubling in the breathing, and this is the actual volume or it is actual value of the environmental oxygen which should be present for the better respiration, which should be present for the better breathing purpose. So decrease 20% in environmental oxygen will cause doubling in breathing, or will we feel suffocation, we will feel discomfortness during respiration or during breathing. The breathing center communicate with the intercostal muscle as well as with the diaphragm. Now the breathing center, what is breathing center? As we discussed earlier, that the breathing center is present in medulla oblongata. And medulla oblongata, breathing center is present, which is furtherly consist of two portions, ventral and dorsal. Now the breathing center is also responsible, have also link with the diaphragm as well as with the intercostal muscle. What is intercostal muscle, or where intercostal muscle are located? As we know that the intercostal muscle are located between the ribs cage, or all the ribs are attached with one another by through a intercostal muscle. Now intercostal nerve is responsible to convey the message from medulla oblongata or from breathing center to the diaphragm and to the intercostal muscle. Intercostal nerves are responsible to convey the messages from medulla oblongata, breathing center part, to the intercostal muscle and diaphragm. Now what is the reason why they convey the messages to the diaphragm or to the intercostal muscle? As we know that the breathing is a physical phenomena. Breathing is a physical phenomena. When we breathe or when we inspire gases from the outer environment and to the lungs and expel out from the lungs to the outer environment, or physical change occur inside in our body. During inspiration, our ribs cage become expanded. It provide an area for the expansion of lungs. Beside with this, the intercostal muscle which are present between the ribs also elongate or also contract. Why it contract? Because the breathing center, from the breathing center and from medulla, the message is conveyed through the intercostal nerve and to the intercostal muscles which are present between the ribs, and to the diaphragm which are present in the lower abdominal part or the lower portion of the ribs cage. So it gave a message that with the periodic movement or with the rhythmic time of respiration, we are taking oxygen and expelling carbon dioxide with the rhythmic movement. With the periodic movement. After each 30 seconds, we inspire and expire. After each 45 seconds, now these 30 and 45 seconds, or after 1 minute, The respiration or the breathing process, that will be known as a rhythmic or periodic movement or periodic process of the respiration. Now each rhythmic movement, medulla oblongata convey message to the intercostal muscle as well as diaphragm, that during inspiration it give order to the diaphragm that you make a dome shape, come toward upward position, and give order to the intercostal muscle that you contract. When the intercostal muscle contract, or ribs cage become expand and provide area for expansion of lungs. So this is due to the medulla oblongata, or due to the physiological process, or due to the physiological movement of nerves inside the physiological movement of the messages inside from medulla oblongata into the breathing center inside the brain, and it is a communication between the brain and other part and respiratory part of the body. So medulla oblongata give order or give a control or total function of the breathing by through a breathing center, by through a two type of breathing portion, ventral and dorsal portion. Now beside with this, we know that the breathing consists of two phases. The breathing phenomena have two phases. One phase, or the breathing, we can define breathing is the exchange of gases, or the inhaling of gas into the lungs, and exhaling of these gases or extra gases or reserve gases or used gases into the environment. This is known as breathing. Now there are two phenomena occur, or there are two phenomena responsible for the breathing purpose. One is inspiration or inhaling, and another one is expiration or exhaling. How we can define the inspiration or inhaling and expiration or exhaling? So breathing consists of two phases. First one is known as inspiration or inhaling. Another one is expiration or exhaling. What is inspiration? How we will define inspiration? N means inside, taking of air inside into the lungs from outer environment is known as inspiration. Taking of air or taking of gases. In short, we have concern, or we are related with the oxygen, so we specifically write down the oxygen, the taking of oxygen from environment into the lungs is known as inspiration. While expiration is opposite to the inspiration. X means outside or to kick out. So expiration is going out of oxygen, going out of gases, or going out of carbon dioxide, because the carbon dioxide is a byproduct or raw product during respiration process, going out of carbon dioxide into the environment. One is from the environment and another one is into the environment. One is in the lungs and another one is from the lungs. Outer into the environment or from the environment into lungs. And another one is from the lungs. So this is a definition of inspiration, and these are the two phases of breathing, inspiration and expiration. Inspiration is the intake of oxygen or intaking of air or gases from outer environment into the lungs or into the respiratory tract. This is known as inspiration. While another one phase is expiration. Expiration is the going out of gases or expelled out of gases from the body of an organism, from the lungs into the environment. So it is the reciprocal or opposite phenomena to one another, inspiration and expiration. Now coming towards inspiration, that when we inhale air inside our body, what kind of changes occur inside in our body? What kind of physical changes will be occur inside in our body? As we discussed earlier, before that in the breathing control center or in breathing center, that when we inhale air during inspiration, when we inhale air, the following changes will occur. In which inspiration, the following changes will occur. The changes will be: first, expansion of ribs cage, contraction of intercostal muscle, third one, formation of dome shape, structure by diaphragm. So these are the following, or these are the main changes which will occur during inspiration process. Expansion of ribs cage, when we inhale air inside in our body, just like that. When we inhale, then our ribs cage become expanded. Why this expansion occur, or why the ribs cage become expanded? It is due to the contraction of intercostal muscle. Intercostal muscle are those muscles which are present among the ribs. Among every two ribs, the muscle which are present and which are flexible in structure and in function, their structure or their function is to give expansion to the ribs cage, to provide area. When we inhale gases, the gases go into the lungs, and go into the alveoli. Alveoli are the air sacs which become filled up from this air, and expansion occur in the wall of the lung. So the lung become expanded, and it will need a proper area for the expansion. To provide an area for the expansion to these lungs, the intercostal nerve, which are linked with the medulla oblongata, which is linked with the breathing center, give order to these intercostal muscle and diaphragm. At a time with the rhythmic or with the periodic movement or with the periodic respiration, that you become contract and give order to the diaphragm that you come toward upward position to provide a specific or to provide an area for the expansion of lungs. So these changes will occur during inspiration process. The sternum become expand and come towards frontal position, or our body or our ribs cage will come into the front position. It will become upward during inspiration process. It is because of the expansion of ribs cage. The sternum also moved forward with the expansion of these ribs cage, or due to the contraction of intercostal muscle. Along with the contraction, our ribs cage become expand. With these expansion, the diaphragm, which is relaxed and attached with the lower region of the ribs cage, also become expanded and come towards upward position and form a dome shaped structure. These are the changes which occur during inspiration, which occur during inhaling process. For example, this is ribs cage and that is the sternum. These are the ribs which are attached with the sternum and form a cage, a framework or a cage structure. Now during inspiration, when we inhale air from outer environment, the lungs, first of all, there is an relaxed position. When we inhale air or when we inspired air inside in our body, these lungs become expanded, just like a balloon like structure. Now with these expansion to provide area by the ribs cage to these structure, so the ribs cage become also expanded. Now this expansion, or these are the changes which occur during inspiration process or which occur during inspiration, and the diaphragm which is attached here or diaphragm which is attached with the lower portion of the ribs cage also go toward upward position and form a dome shape. When during expiration, what changes will occur? During expiration, the opposite changes to these inspiration will occur. For example, as we studied that expansion occur in ribs cage during inspiration. Now during expiration, this expansion or this expansion will remove out, will go backward into their original position. So the expansion of ribs cage become convert into the relaxed position. Why it will be relaxed? Why it will relax? Because we have studied that the expiration phenomena is controlled by breathing center dorsal portion. So when excess amount of oxygen is taken into the lung, the following changes will occur. Now the dorsal portion of the breathing center will give message to the dorsal portion. Breathing center will give message to the dorsal portion that you stop the inspiration, that you stop the air from the entry and expel out the extra gases. Now that time when the expansion or the gases which filled the lungs will become expelled or kick out or become expelled out from the lungs. So the expansion will retain their position, expansion will decrease, and the lungs again retain their relaxed position. The intercostal muscle is also receive a message from the breathing center that you become relaxed. So the intercostal muscle become relaxed, retain their original relaxing position. Beside with that, the diaphragm also receive the message, and the diaphragm will come to their original position, to their relaxed position, flattened position. So these are the changes, or these are the main changes which occur during inspiration and expiration. Expansion of ribs cage, contraction of intercostal muscle, coming upward of the ribs cage or coming upward of the body toward in forward position, while formation of dome shape by a diaphragm. These are the 3 or 4 changes which occur during inspiration, while in expiration the opposite of these all will occur. It will go, all these 4 things will go to their original position where they are in relaxed position. Just like expansion when relaxed, and the ribs cage will come to their original position. Why it will come to their original position? Because at the same time the diaphragm also receive a message from the dorsal portion that you lose your contraction and come to your relaxed mood and come to your relaxed position. So the intercostal muscle will relax. With the relaxation of intercostal muscle, the expansion decreases. This why the ribs cage will come to their original position. And beside with that, the dome shape also decrease, or the dome shape also vanish by the diaphragm by receiving the message from the dorsal portion. So these are about the control of breathing mechanism. That what is the main thing which control the breathing inside a human or during respiration process. So medulla oblongata is the main part of the brain which control the voluntary and involuntary part and involuntary action of the breathing mechanism. Respiration is actually involuntary process. It is not under the control of will, but to some extent with short period of time we can control our breath, which I give you example of breathing, of talking, of swimming, during singing. Now in that condition we can stop our breath to some extent, while otherwise breathing or respiration is involuntary phenomena. It is involuntary action, it is involuntary function. After that there are phases of breathing, 2 phases, inspiration and expiration. Thank you very much. And the next lecture we will study about the transport of oxygen, that how oxygen is transported inside in a blood. Thank you.